All right, very good. During the war here, there was a small village, and the name of the village was Sovietskaya village. And I told you yesterday that on the 19th of November in 1942, the counter-offensive began. And the fights were on the vast territory, and there were three fronts that took part in the Battle of Stalingrad. One of them is called the Southwestern Front, under Vatutin, the Don Front under Rokossovsky, and the Stalingrad Front under Yeremenko. And the armies were in the fronts. For example, in the Stalingrad Front, there was the 62nd, the 64th Army, and the counteroffensive started not in Stalingrad, of course, but very far from it. And the two fronts started counteroffensive, the Don Front and the Southwestern Front, and they attacked the Hitler's group of armies, and in 4 days, on the 23rd of January, they managed to encircle November. They managed to encircle them here, close to the Don River, and it was the beginning of the end of the Hitler's army. Hitler did not believe it. He thought that everything would be all right, and he told his soldiers, "Don't worry. First of all, the tank army under Manstein is coming for your rescue, and also there are a few airports, and everything you need, weapons, food, everything will be dropped from the air for you." But the airports were destroyed by the Soviet soldiers, and the tank army under Manstein could not come for rescue because our Soviet tanks stopped him. And then the situation was quite helpless for Germans. Not for I say Germans, but you know that they were Italians, they were Romanians, but we always say Russians, Germans. It's not quite true because they were different nationalities. And on the 10th of January, the Soviet government offered Hitler to capitulate and to save the lives of many soldiers and officers, because they did not even have food. They had to eat horse meat. That was their fate. And Hitler said no capitulation, and they said, "If you don't want to capitulate, we'll kill your soldiers, officers." And most of them were killed because there were 330,000 encircled during the Battle of Stalingrad. 92,000 were taken prisoner. Many of them were not even killed, but they died because of diseases, because of hunger, because of cold. Now the winters are not as cold as they had used to be many years ago. In 1942, in 1943, sometimes there were frosts 40 degrees below zero by centigrade, and for Italians, for Romanians, it was awful, and most of them died. But many years later, it was decided to open a monument in honor of the meeting of the two fronts. two fronts, the Don front and the southwestern front. And you can see the banners, the happy Soviet soldiers, they have met here. And the author of this monument is Yevgeny Vuchetich. Yevgeny Vuchetich, the same as the author of the memorial on the Mamai Hill, Vuchetich, and he is a well-known sculptor, a well-known artist. There is his monument to the Soviet soldier in Berlin. The Soviet soldier is holding on one of his hands the German child, a small girl, and the sword that is pointing to the ground. The battle, the war has come to an end at last. And the third statue with a sword is in New York, also by Vuchetich, and it is called Let's Beat the Swords into Plowshares. And it is in front of the building of the United Nations in New York. And now, if you wish, we can go up the staircase upstairs. Maybe a little.